quite simply with our systematic, technically driven approach to gathering current data through community assessments, creating local, socially driven solutions that result in a community action plan. And yes, my friends, I've said that sentence 10,000 times, and let me boil it down to what it really means. Let's begin with the systematic approach to gathering on-the-ground data. We go with our operatives. Now, they may be Rotary Club members in one of the 24 Rotary Clubs. It might be Rotaractors, or it might be trusted partners and NGOs. And we go into a community with just a cell phone. And on the cell phone is an app called M-Water. We'll walk up to a water source. It might be a pump, it might be a water kiosk or a fountain, or it might just be a running creek. And we plug in that into M-Water, and through satellite imagery, through GPS, it records the exact coordinates of where that water source is. Then we try the pump to see if it works. We mark it as functional or broken. We test the water with a testing kit to see if it's poisoned with E. coli or if it's clean. Now we know in every single water source in that community that exists. We then go to Google Maps and we lay Google Maps on top of our collected data. And the Google Maps will show us every dwelling in that community. We know that on average there are 5.5 people in every dwelling. But now that we can see the situation in that community, we know how many people are there and how many people are within the 500-meter threshold of clean water that determines it a successful commune. My fellow Rotarians, we have done this now through 40% of the country of Haiti, step by step, community by community, simply painstakingly collecting this data. It now establishes requirements for those communities. Our next step is to create that socially driven solution. Now, there are 144 communes in Haiti. A commune is very much like a county here in the States. We meet with the commune. And here I am in January talking to the mayor of Cavaillon, our first pilot commune. We show them what we have done as far as collecting data. In fact, right behind me in that picture is that chart of that commune and every single water source and the assessment of that. We then ask the question of the mayor and the leading people. Here is the data of your town. What are you going to do to provide fresh water to your community? You see, we'll do the collection of data. We'll even do the engineering study. We'll even pay the money to have it done. But we understand that for this to be successful, they must take it from there. We then assign to each commune a hand wash ambassador. That's either, again, one of the members of the Rotary clubs in the community or a trusted NGO. In this commune in Cavaillon, it happens to be past Rotary District Governor Robert Leger, who is in the Lacaille Rotary Club. They then collectively build a community assessment program or community action plan. Finally, we assure that the process embodies the core values of HANWASH. This is sustainability, transparency, accountability, and a pay-for-service system. That's right, my friends, we are not giving them free water. We're asking they pay for free water. We cannot get sustainability unless we have both social and financial buy-in by the community and the residents. And this is monumental and has not happened before. Finally, we establish a professional operator. In Cavaillon, it happens to be a local bank. This local bank will collect the funds from the residents, pass on a portion of it to DNEPA, the regulatory body, so they can start functioning like a true government body. And the rest they keep and hold for future water system upgrades and repairs. Now, does this sound difficult to do? I'll tell you that this part so far is the easy part here. The $2.3 billion raising and all that stuff, that's easy. The hard part is the changing of the culture. And the changing of culture for three different groups of people. The first, of course, are the people of Haiti themselves. To change the culture of a charity mentality to a mentality that they're going to pay for the services that they receive. The second cultural change is the government itself. See, the government right now operates by others giving it money, other large NGOs supplying it funds. The government needs to learn how to stand up on its own and to take this thing from here. Rotary and HANWASH is not going to be here forever. The government must stand on its own 2 feet and be sustainable. And the final people who we have to change the culture, and probably the most difficult one, are the other NGOs, non-government organizations that proliferate the landscape and offer what I would tell you is a toxic charity. Before the earthquake in 2010, there were 4,000 NGOs in the country of Haiti. After the earthquake, 22,000 NGOs, each of them trying to carve out a little piece of Haiti, a little niche here, but very few of them taking on the mindset of what is best for Haiti as its entirety, as a macrocosm. I both love and hate this photograph. It was taken in January of this year, on my last visit. It's outside of a school in Lakai. The Lakai Rotary Club brought us to it to show us some new benches and desks they bought for the students. They showed us this pump, this well. It was put in about 3 years ago, and it's broken, doesn't work. On the platform, you'll see a lawnmower, doesn't work. But most oddly about this, if you look north of the pump, that white and blue building, that's a water kiosk connected to the city water system. That doesn't work. So rather than fix the existing system, some well-wishing NGO, it could be a church group, it could even be a Rotary Club, spent about $20,000 and put in his pump. This happens every single week in every single community around the country of Haiti. We need to move this thing. We need to think about sustainability. We need to think about a national program. We need to stop thinking about relief and thinking about development. And my friends, quite frankly, Haiti needs HANWASH to do this. And Haiti needs you also. You can help us. You can help us by supporting us with a global grant. We currently just concluded our last global grant on June 30th, and we'll be working on our next one now. So we always need funds to help support the global grants. But we also understand that only about 10% of the money that we raise is going to be raised through the Rotary Foundation. The rest is going to be raised through large corporate donors. And very often these large corporate donors come to us. They want us to match the funds. So for example, I was on the phone with USAID 2 nights ago. They've got a $2 million grant they want to give us, but they want us to match it with some money. So we've established a donor advised fund at the Rotary Foundation for HANWASH where you can contribute and help us to be to build up that fund to be a matching for our large donors. You can help us through sponsoring a well. And though I want your money, and past director David will tell you that I am never shy about asking people for money, I think is probably what I do best. But there's something I need more than that. And I heard in the introductions of guests, a gentleman who, it may be a woman, I couldn't tell, who was involved with water systems. What I need from you now more than anything is your advocacy. There are people like that person and others that you know in your community, and the people that you know, your sphere of influence. It might be an NGO who's currently working in Haiti. It might be a church or other religious institution who's doing the same. We need to bring them on board to be a part of HANWASH. We are not competition. We are their best advocates. We're their best support. We'll help fund them. We'll help support them. We'll give them our know-how, our expertise for us to develop all of these 22,000 NGOs. If they could come on board and help us collectively, we can make a difference. I'll finalize by giving you some final thoughts. First of all, in this picture, it was taken in January, the young woman in the blue blouse, her name is Erica Gwynn. She is with the Rotary Foundation, and she is in charge of all the water and sanitation projects for Rotary International around the world. She came down to Haiti as a skeptic. She saw what we did after a week visit with us and was absolutely amazed about what we can do and what we are doing. And now Erica Gwynn has joined the board of directors of HANWASH. Again, also while we are in Haiti, you saw that picture of me with the mayor of Cavaillon. We talked to him, and that was after his first month of the water system in Haiti being up and running. And he indicated to us that 33% of the residents had paid their first water bill. 2 months later, 60%, and now 2 months more, we're about 80%. 80% of the people who have never received a water bill in their lifetime are paying the water bill. The culture is being changed in our first pilot commune. People are acknowledging the value of having clean, potable water at a turn of a faucet. Now, I'll tell you, the cost to them is less than they were buying it in a little water packets in the street. It makes sense financially, but to get them to change that mindset was drastic. Also, while we were in Haiti, we met with some large donor organizations. We met with USAID, with UNICEF, and also the World Bank. And the World Bank was an interesting one for me. Even though the World Bank knows us internationally, the executive director or director general in Haiti had no idea who Rotary was. He didn't know who we were or what we do. And he asked us a question. He said, well, how long will you be here with your project? You see, he's used to one of these 22,000 NGOs walking in with some newly raised money, coming and do a project like that water pump in Lakai, and then walking away. And we told them very clearly that we don't do projects, that we are Rotary International and we do programs. And in fact, our program will be done when we're done. When every single citizen in the country of Haiti has access to potable water, then we're done. And in fact, we at Rotary have a track record of it. 35 years ago, some Philippine Rotarians said, we want to give polio vaccinations to the children in the Philippines. And then 3.5 decades later, we're still working our End Polio Now program, and we'll be working it till we're done. So before we left Haiti, the guy from the World Bank asked us back one more time. And so we met with him about 5 hours before we were leaving on our plane. And he offered us a grant right there for $2.5 million. A big amount of money, yeah, not a big amount of money when you consider we're trying to raise 2.3 billion. But what it told us is what he got it. He figured out who we are. He understood that Rotary stood for integrity, for transparency, for sustainability, and for long-term impact. My fellow Rotarians, this is an audacious goal. I'm not being naive here, but I'm telling you that nobody in the world but Rotary could do this. And Rotary is going to do it. It won't be done in my lifetime, I'm sure. But I'm telling you, we are here to see it till its end. So I guess I'll end my presentation in sort of in the same way as I began it. Those who choose to live well must help others to live well. For the value of our lives is measured by the lives that we touch, both near and far. I want to thank you for your kind attention today. I want to thank you for what your Rotary Club has done in the past, what it's doing now, and what it's going to do in the future. I'd love to have your support, but in the end, may God bless you and may God bless Rotary. Mr. President, the microphone is yours.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Well, Director Smarge, thank you for your time today. It is a very powerful project that you're working on down there, and we appreciate your efforts on behalf of all Rotarians everywhere. Thank you very much.